Hey, y'all. It is Thursday Thoughts, and it's your girl, Vanette, and I'm so happy to be here with y'all. It was running a little late today, but I want to come on nevertheless because this is our time together, right? Um, and for this Thursday Thoughts, y'all, it might seem a little random, but what I want to talk about is who moved the cheese. We're going to talk about who moved the cheese. Now, I don't know how many of you remember the little book. It's a little book called Who Moved the Cheese. And before we get into the book, Who Moved the Cheese, with every Thursday, I always like to start off with what I am thankful for. And I tell you, I am so grateful and so thankful that I know trouble don't last always. Now, this can resonate with some of y'all out there, and I hope it does, but trouble don't last always. But when you're in the thick of the storm, it feels like it's lasting forever. And sometimes you can't see no way out. You just like, Lord. But trouble don't last always. There's always a season for everything. And just like we have a season of winter, right? We have a season of fall, of spring, and summer. And in the fall, everything is starting to wrap up. Everything is starting to get ready to hibernate. The leaves are turning colors, they're browning and falling off the trees. And then in the wintertime, everything looks bare, right? Doesn't look like anything is yielding, right? It's cold, it's bare, it's a lot of gray skies, right? It's a season for everything. But then in spring, in the season of spring, you start seeing things grow out of places that look barren, look like it was no hope of anything growing there. There's a season for everything. And then in the summer, everything is full bloom, right? The sun is shining, the days are longer. So, with all that I said, I'm so thankful. Trouble don't last always. And it ain't gonna rain all the time. You're gonna have some sunshine. You're gonna have some sunshine soon. And it's also, so important. I want to say this too, is to really focus on what you're looking for. Okay? What you're looking for. And then I'm gonna get to the whole Who Moved the Cheese book in a moment. But I want to talk to you briefly, y'all, on mindset and why oh my God, it's so important. It literally steers the direction of your life. It starts with your mindset. And I'll use it as an example. Have you all when you went and bought your latest car, right? You went and bought your car. And as soon as you buy your car, you notice it's a whole lot of other cars on the road just like your car. And you just start seeing your car everywhere. Why? Because now it's in your focus. But before you had that car, all the other cars like your car was still on the road, but it wasn't in your line of sight. You weren't thinking about it. Whatever you think about, that's what you're going to see, right? So be careful about what you think about. Because just like that old saying, if you look for trouble, you're going to find it. Watch out what you're looking for, y'all. Watch out what you're looking for. Be careful of what you're focusing on, right? It doesn't mean that you're not aware that certain things are out there, but don't let being aware that certain things are going on be a distraction to keep you from what you need to do, to keep you distracted from your vision, your purpose, right? From your joy, what brings you joy, right? Because if you're always focusing, if you're easily distracted and you're getting focused on some negativity, you're getting fully focused on things that are making you anxious and upset, guess what? Your attention can't be focused on those things that bring you joy, that bring you happiness, that brings you closer to the things that you value most. Okay? So keep that in mind. But let's go back to talking about the book I want to talk to y'all about. Who Moved the Cheese? So the reason why I want to talk to y'all today briefly about this little book called Who Moved the Cheese is because today I attended a summit I attended an IT summit um, in downtown Detroit. It was through SIMS, Senior Information Management Leadership of Technology Asso- Association. And they had so many wonderful speakers. And they were talking about, what's going on today as far as AI and how artificial intelligence, machine learning, and all of that are really shaping the world that we live in. And that got me to thinking that as things change in our society, excuse me, as things change in our society, we all have to take notice of the jobs that we're currently doing and how does our current skill set fit into the direction that technology is going. So as new technology is developed, the cheese is moving, y'all. The cheese is moving. Example, how many of y'all remember back in the day we used to have typewriters? These babies out here today, y'all, they don't even know what a typewriter was. I remember I had a class on typing in school. How many of y'all had a class on typing in school? I had a class on typing in school. And so today, again, we're talking about who moved the cheese. So with technology, again, going back to technology and where it's going, technology and, machine learning, AI, bots, is so many different variations of it, right? I'm sure a lot of you know of ChatGPT, right? ChatGPT is one of my closest friends. Again, however, technology is coming so fast, but it's changing how we do things today. Um, as I stated, we used to have typewriters. Now we have keyboards. We no longer use typewriters. Nobody used typewriters. We're on laptops, we're on our cell phones. I remember back in the day, you used to have to buy a camera, a little camera, if you want to take pictures. Now, what do? You take them with your phone. Technology is moving. Back in the day, if you worked in an office, and unfortunately, some offices are still doing paperwork, but paper is going away. They're doing away with a lot of the paper, physical paper in your hands. Everything is going digital. And so the reason why I'm talking to you all about who moved the cheese is I want each of you to just consider, based on where technology is going, the cheese is moving, but are you preparing your skill set for where the cheese is going? That means we've got to upskill ourselves. And one of the things I want to pose out to you all today is, how has technology touched your life? What are some things in the comments? How have technology touched your life? What are some things that you use technology for? Right? How many of you, if you leave your phone at home, you going right back to the house? Like this, if you notice when you pull out that driveway, you done left that phone at home, you going right back to the house to get it. We can't even put that phone down. Like, we take it with us because there's so much of our lives wrapped up in the phone, right? We have our digital credit cards on the phone, all of our contacts. How many of y'all can even remember phone numbers? Anybody? No. Why? Because it's all on the phone. You just hit a button, call a person. We're not remembering phone numbers anymore. Again, going back to who moved the cheese. Who moved the cheese? So in the story, in the book of Who Moved the Cheese, the story about some mice. There's some mice, and the mice had a house. In the house, inside this little maze or whatever, they knew where the cheese was, so they knew how to get back to that same spot to get the cheese. Except the cheese was moving, so somebody would say, like, "Well, the cheese is about to move." So they got word on the street: the cheese is about to move. The cheese is about to move. They didn't pay any attention to it. They was just like, "Well, the cheese is still right here. It's still right here." And then one day the cheese was gone, y'all. The cheese was gone. Somebody had moved the cheese. But instead of them paying attention that the cheese was moving, They didn't. They just kept going back to the same spot where the cheese was. So, in essence, those mice was equivalent to like Blockbuster, right? Because the cheese was moving for Blockbuster. How many of y'all remember Blockbuster, the video chain where you go in and you rent your VHS? For those of you who are really young, those are giant cassettes of movies we used to rent so we could watch, right? You got Netflix now, so you don't have to worry about that. Or Prime, you don't have to worry about that. But with Blockbuster, it was just like who moved the cheese. Technology was coming, but Blockbuster felt like, we've got a lock on our industry. What we're doing is going great. And instead of paying attention to where technology was going, Blockbuster sat still and got stagnant and didn't do anything. And because of that, they no longer exist. So the reason why I'm talking to you all today about, who moved the cheese is technology is moving. And technology is coming and it's intertwined in almost every fabric of our life. There's not an industry around that technology has not touched. From your food, how your food is packaged, to cars, clothing, makeup, medicine, um, everything. There is technology everywhere. And in insurance, technology is everywhere. So I want you all to just take a moment and think about how has technology touched your life and how is technology affecting your careers? If you are a place that handles a lot of customer service calls, right? They have AI bots now that have such a feel of human mannerisms, right? And it's not a human, it's a bot that's been programmed to sound, they have different voice, different tones and inflection, and it's very conversational. So they've created bots that are really having, good conversational type of technology and how it's communicating with the human caller on the other line. So if you used to be in a call center, start thinking that some of those calls are going to be funneled to a bot. It's going to be taking those calls, right? So how can you upskill yourself so that you put yourself in a position where, you know, you can still thrive in this new technology environment that we have? Um, when we think of the technology that's out there, a lot of people will use ChatGPT to help them come up with marketing plans, strategies, outlines, all types of things. And then another technology tool that's out there is Gamma. How many of you are familiar with Gamma? Gamma is an AI tool that's out there for building out presentations and documents. You can give it an outline, tell it what tone you want, pick out what colors you want for your presentation, put it in there. It'll create it in like a matter of seconds, gaining efficiency, right? I remember back in the day when we were creating PowerPoint presentations, you had your outline, you manually filled out that PowerPoint template. But now they have technology that will do it for you. You just give it an outline and it'll populate the information for you. So you can work a little smarter, not harder. But again, I just want to say be cognizant of where the cheese is moving, where is technology going? Because on the flip side, a whole lot of other new careers are coming up, technology and with the cloud, with networking, data analysis, because data is key. A lot of our companies are taking in so much data and information, but how do you comb through it? That's a whole nother career set. So where we may see a shift in one industry and one career, through technology, it will sprout other career opportunities. And there are so many ways for you guys to get training and to get educated on some of the new technology that's out there, just to see, because it's not all about coding, right? Because, they even introduced today, like they were talking about, they have AI bots that does the coding for you. Like you talk about Python or Java or, all the other type of languages that's out there, but they have, AI bots that's doing the coding for you, right? So they don't need, full-time coders all the time. They can program the bot to go through and do that. So there's still just so many opportunities opening up. And so on this Thursday Thoughts, it's one of the business Thursday Thoughts, which I normally don't do business Thursday Thoughts, but it just hit me when I went to the summit and I heard a lot of good information. I just wanted to bring it up and just share and just say that I want us all to be ready. And there are a lot of programs. Check your local areas for programs. They're offering a lot of free training. There are some nonprofits because, again, what's going on is they can't get enough people to learn some of this technology skill set. So they're offering free training. Check with your local cities, Google nonprofits that work within IT and things like that because not everything is has to go through, a 4-year degree, formal college education. They have a lot of certifications out there, y'all. And I just want y'all to be able to take advantage of everything that's out there for us. Oftentimes we complain, well, it's hard to find a job or it's hard to navigate doing this, that, and the third. But we have to learn how to tap into some of those resources that's out there for us. And I want us to win. I want us to tap into that and to see. And if you think maybe technology isn't you don't want to go with a primary job in technology per se as IT. Technology is everywhere. It's all in the medical field. That's one of the other things they shared with us. They actually have, when you some medical institutions have where if a patient needs to call and if they're having problems, they're actually talking to a bot that's taking some of the signs and symptoms and then recommending certain things to patients, right? Um, where you can put in some physicians can put in signs and symptoms, and the technology would take a look to see, what could be some of the top um, next steps that the doctor should be looking to do, or things like that. So technology is out there when it comes to like interpreting our X-rays and things like that, where it may take a human a significant amount of time to maybe go through a lot of those images with AI. It can go through those images very, very quickly. Now the doctors, they don't depend solely on AI. They do go in and take a and look and just make sure everything is correct, but AI is going through that data so quickly that the patient is able to get quicker care, and the doctor is able to really zoom in and focus in on what could be some problem points, right? It's not 100%, but it's making huge advances. So I just say, think about, your careers. For those of you who may be a little seasoned like me, it's never too late to learn something different. It's never too late to pivot and learn something different. To the younger people who are out there, um, you know, IT may not be your first choice, but give it a try. Give it a try. There are different career paths within IT. I mean, everything from cloud to networking. You can get into IT, engineering, data analysis, cybersecurity, and then there are different layers in between. In between. So I just want to see us, really take advantage of the different things that's out there. Even when it comes to makeup. I think I touched on this before. Technology and makeup, right? Believe it or not, technology is just everywhere. So even in the field you want to go in, there's bits and pieces of technology that's already there, already there. So I want you all to just consider that. Look at some free training programs for anybody who may be on LinkedIn. LinkedIn have a whole learning module out there. They have other online educational things that you can go and get learning for little of nothing. And like I said, they do have some local organizations you can get with that offer free training if you meet certain criteria. So check it out, check it out. Because again, going back to the story of who moved the cheese, right? We can see things are changing, right? Things are changing. And those jobs that are more manual and more labor intense, some of those jobs are going to be going away. Some of them are going to be going away. So you have to learn, how can I shift so that I can find a job that is going to afford me, a comfortable lifestyle. And having a job that's going to afford you a comfortable lifestyle, that job doesn't necessarily have to be your purpose, but you want to be able to make sure you can earn a living, right? So watch and pay attention to who's moving the cheese. A lot of organizations are looking, how can we do things faster, cheaper, right? Faster, cheaper, better, better. Being able to have a quicker turnaround time for their clients. So with that said, take a look and see what you're doing. Don't wait for somebody to tap you on your shoulder. If you know you're doing something that's very manual, you're keying in a lot of data. Start thinking of, how can technology help me do this better? Because wherever there's opportunity to improve or to gain efficiencies, if it's taken 4 people to manually key in data, it's going to take less than that when they introduce AI and automation into that. So I just, wanted to bring that up. And so in closing, because y'all know we do 15 minutes of Thursday thoughts, y'all. Again, I just wanted to express gratitude for, knowing that trouble don't last always. So if you don't take anything other than who moved the cheese, also take with you today that trouble don't last always. So whatever you're going through right now, know that God has you. And know that trouble don't last always. And start thinking of, okay, right now it's rough, but let me start thinking of what are some things that I can do. What did I learn from this? How can I grow from this, if anything, right? So, with that said, I just want to say it's been a pleasure as always, y'all. And I do want to say this as well. We have Sip, Chill, and Spill coming back. Why? Because everybody loved it. Everybody loved it. The last one we had was on March 23rd. We're bringing it back April 27th, right? Listen, you want to click the link. If you are on Facebook, I think I pinned it to the top of Facebook. So on my Facebook page, look for the Sip, Chill, and Spill. Sign up. It's totally free, y'all. Totally free. If you are on Instagram, go to my profile, click the link in my profile, sign up for it. It's totally free. Y'all, we had so much fun. Oh my gosh. Some of the games, and every month it's not gonna be the same games, y'all. It's a power hour of fun and sisterhood, laughter. And you can have your own beverage of your choice. You can have a cocktail or a mocktail, coffee, tea, and or milk, okay? Whatever your heart desire. But we had so much fun. We had so much fun, y'all. We had scavenger hunt. When I tell y'all, I had people run around the house grabbing stuff, but it was so much fun, y'all. We laughed. We had good conversation. We had breakout sessions where the ladies got in smaller groups and we were really having some lovely conversation. And it's just something about sisterhood. It's something about being with women in a safe space where, you know what, you can forget about the work, the responsibilities of work, the responsibilities of a family, or caring for a parent. And you just have time for you, just to have fun for a short period of time where you don't even have to leave the house, right? We did Name That Tune, y'all. We just had so much fun. And so this time we're going to have a different set of games that we're going to play. It's 1 hour of fun. So if you want some good laughter, good company with some wonderful women, because I met some great women that were there, y'all. You want to try it. Listen, it's just my way of giving back, saying, I love y'all. And you need to have a break for fun sometimes. And every month we're going to be bringing that one Sunday a month for 1 hour of pure fun, y'all. Just pure fun where you can get back to some good laughter And you need that to breathe and to be in a safe space with women where if the conversation takes us somewhere vulnerable, we're vulnerable, but we're in a safe space that's full of nothing but support and love. So if that's something that you sound like you might be interested in, click the links and join me because we're going to have a ball again. All right, y'all. I'm going to let y'all go. It's been wonderful. Y'all take care, be blessed, and know trouble don't last always. Bye, y'all.